Stranger Things 4 ended on what was arguably the biggest cliffhanger in television history. We saw the portals rip open, the Upside Down bleeding into Hawkins, and the literal apocalypse beginning. We waited years for the payoff, but now that we're deep into Season 5, I have to say it. This is a massive disappointment. And I'm not just being a hater for the sake of it. I love this show. But compared to the tension of Season 1 or even the scale of Season 4, this final chapter feels like it's crumbling under its own weight. Here is why Season 5 just isn't hitting the mark. Let's start with the biggest bait. Remember the end of Season 4? The barriers were gone. The Upside Down was officially the right side up. It set the stage for an epic high-stakes war. But Season 5 walks all of that back almost immediately. Instead of a hellscape, we get a military quarantine. The portals are basically band-aided over. Everyone in Hawkins is acting weirdly normal. There's a giant rift in the middle of your town, and you're re-worried about school dances. The sense of urgency is gone. They took an apocalyptic premise and turned it back into a Monster of Week procedural, and the tonal whiplash is jarring. Then there's the villain problem. In Season 4, Vecna was terrifying. He was a psychological predator, a direct throwback to the original Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Krueger. He felt personal, visceral, and unstoppable. Now, he's been reduced to a generic, brooding mastermind who somehow can't handle a group of teenagers. There is this weird shift where he feels less like an ancient cosmic horror and more like a creepy, Jeffrey Epstein-style recluse, hiding in the shadows. He's lost his teeth. When your big bad goes from ripping limbs off in the mindscape to constantly being outsmarted by kids with walkie-talkies, the stakes vanish. We also need to talk about the power scaling, because it's officially broken. The show has established that Demogorgons can tear through a squad of highly trained, fully armed soldiers in seconds. They are apex predators. Yet, in Season 5, the plot armor is so thick, it's basically bulletproof. We're watching these same creatures struggle against suburban housewives, armed with wine bottles and kitchen utensils. I'm all for moms being heroes, but when the internal logic of your monsters disappears to protect the main cast, you lose all sense of real danger. No one feels like they're actually at risk anymore. And then there's the screen time distribution. This is the final season. We want to see the core four: Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will finish their journey. We want 11's arc to wrap up. So why, for the love of 1986, are we spending so much time on Holly Wheeler? Giving the little sister the lion's share of the screen time feels like a massive miscalculation. It feels like the writers ran out of things for the main cast to do, so they're restalling with side characters that we haven't been invested in for the last 8 years. It's a distraction from the heart of the show. Finally, Stranger Things used to be defined by its vibe, that Amblin meets Stephen King atmosphere. Season 5 feels like it's trying to be a generic Marvel blockbuster. Everything is bigger, sure, but it feels emptier. The mystery is gone, replaced by characters explaining the plot to each other in bunkers. The horror has been replaced by action, and frankly, Stranger Things was never meant to be an action franchise. It was a show about the unseen. And now that everything is out in the light, the flaws are impossible to ignore. We still have the series finale to go. There is a chance, a small one, that the Duffer Brothers can stick the landing and give us an ending that justifies this slow start. But, as it stands, Season 5 is a shadow of its former self. It's safe when it should be daring, and it's bloated when it should be focused. But what do you think? Am I being too harsh? Or are you feeling the same upside-down fatigue? Let me know in the comments. I'll be back to break down the finale as soon as it drops. Would you like me to do a deep dive into the Will Byers theories for the ending next? Thanks for watching.